Hello everyone. The Roadmap Roundup was delayed by 1 week, but we have it now. Let's see what changed and maybe something was added. And once again, CRG is just cutting things out, but hey, we are getting a coffee shop vendor. I guess this makes up for it, right? Chris, this is not what a roadmap is. Of course, a roadmap can never be 100% accurate. There can be blockers, there can be unforeseen hurdles, but a roadmap shouldn't be some kind of wish list or some kind of marketing tool to fuel the hype in order to sell more chips. This is really sad, especially when we are taking a look what Aaron Roberts said about the roadmap. More about this later. I would also like to point out that many of the items that were removed in 3.14, 3.15 and 3.16 are not even back on the roadmap. Yeah. On Spectrum, CRG created a thread about the Roadmap Roundup by Jake a cappella CRG. Now, I don't believe for a split second that he wrote this. This is corporate PR speech to the max. A link to the Spectrum posting is in my first pinned comment below. Let's just look at the most important parts.
Showing nearly everything wasn't our only major goal. Another big objective for us was to use our new public roadmap to better educate our community about how incredibly fluid game development truly is, and to help you understand that features and content shifting around, both forwards and backwards, is a natural state in software development.
Of course, this is perfectly understood. A roadmap can never be 100% accurate, but a roadmap should be, say, 70% accurate and not below 20% like we had in 3.14, 15, 16, 17 and 18, especially after what Aaron Roberts said. More about this soon.
However, at the same time, we felt that while the focus should be on development progress, we also still saw value in showing players what features and content they could look forward to down the line, and when they could get their hands on them. Thus, the release view remained. Instead of removing the release view, we opted to add new functionality where cards could be marked as tentatively planned or committed. And in trying to preserve the legacy and maintain the precedence of the old roadmap, we decided to still hold to a 4 quarters out release view. In hindsight, after living with this new public roadmap for the past 6 quarters, we've come to realize that this was a mistake. It put too much attention on features that had a high probability of shifting around.
Seriously, this is just corporate PR speech to the max, and we will take a look what Aaron Roberts said about the roadmap very soon.
It has become abundantly clear to us that despite our best efforts to communicate the fluidity of development and how features marked as tentative should sincerely not be relied upon, the general focus of many of our most passionate players has continued to lead them to interpret anything on the release view as a promise.
And again, CRG is playing the card. Players think everything on the roadmap is 100% accurate. No, we don't. We understand that there can be blockers. But if your roadmap is less than 50% accurate and actually less than 20% since 3.14, you might not understand what the roadmap actually is. Instead of playing the game he said, she said, how about we are hearing it directly from the horse's mouth? Here is Aaron Roberts.
It's like, with this release of the roadmap, I have very much made sure and asked the team that what we put in there is what we can achieve with what we have right now.
Okay.
Specifically with also, the fact that people may be pulled onto Squadron, and and we know that that there's baselines work. So this although there's a really good set of stuff in there, my hope is we'll be able to add some stuff to the roadmap. But what I've done this time rather than last time is the last time we said we think we can do this, we had it in the roadmap. This time we put in what we are pretty damn sure we can do.
Okay.
So I'm signing up for this. And then all we're going to do is now, hopefully, if we do build a team and get more people, then what we'll do then is we'll actually be able to add stuff to the roadmap. So for a bit of luck, then towards the end of the year, we'll be able to actually start adding stuff to the roadmap rather than taking it out, which would be great.
Well, let's sum this up. Progress in year 10 is still at a snail's pace. People aren't even so worried about things on a roadmap disappearing or appearing. People are worried because we are in year 10 and we still have very little of a game. According to Chris Roberts' 2016 CitizenCon speech, we should have 4.0 4 years ago with, quote, several new star systems, I won't say how many yet. And yes, CRG didn't have 500 people at the start, but they have more than 500 people working on Star Citizen for many years by now. Star Citizen in year 10 has still worse physics than what I have seen from 4-man indie teams in year 1. There is very little physics in Star Citizen. Ships and vehicles still don't have any halfway decent mass simulation. I think those are the things you should work on at the start. Star Citizen still has massive clipping issues that are getting abused. For example, you can glitch into almost any ship. The code in year 10 is held together by quick and dirty fixes, bad workarounds, duct tape and hope. I talked to Dev recently and he confirmed what I always suspected. I always suspected this because when you're testing ships since 2.6.3, you learn a lot. No one expects the roadmap to be 100% accurate, but what we have in Star Citizen isn't a roadmap, it's a marketing tool and less than 50% accurate. Actually, in 3.16, 3.17 and 3.18 less than 20%. And now CRG is kind of removing the roadmap altogether. Let's just get rid of this because we have no idea how to make a roadmap. This feels really bad, especially when looking at what Aaron said about the roadmap. Yeah, we put in what we are pretty damn sure we can do. This wasn't true in 2019, not in 2020, not in 2021, and won't be in 2020. And to make this perfectly clear, I don't blame any dev, coder, artists, QA people working on Star Citizen. This is a management issue. So please don't harass any devs, it's not their fault. I still want Star Citizen to be a huge success. I have supported the project a lot. I am way beyond concierge. But maybe it's time to cut the losses. Let me know what you think in the comments below and see you next time. Bye. Auf Wiedersehen. Hey, you're still here. You might want to join me on Twitter. My Twitter account is Camural_SC.